Yo, what's good with it? It's your boy Sam Noble. I wanted to talk about these current events that's been taking place with Jacob Jacob Blake and the Cal Rittenhouse dude, right? So, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I want to speak to both sides of people, and the division and everything that's going on right now, right? Obviously, I'm a black man, and I'm also a conservative. I'm also a Christian man, right? So I just want to speak to a lot of the things that I'm hearing and stuff that's going on. This is obviously an unfortunate situation, right? But it's also, in a way, I believe this is a good situation for us to point out some things real quick, for us to deal with a few things, in regards to the climate of the country and everything that's going on. Because what I'm seeing is just like, it's ridiculous. It's a lot of people that's trying to push their side and their narrative so hard that you don't have the ability to even think. You don't have the ability to even be objective. You know what I'm saying? To even be real. You know what I mean about a situation. And I think that that's sad, and I feel like that's a part of what's going to cause a lot of issue and prevent people from being able to have some resolve. You know what I'm saying, in this whole situation. So what I'm seeing when it comes to this situation, basically on one side it's like, hey, nothing matters. He was shot by the police 7 times. We don't want to hear nothing else. It's racist. It's evil. And anybody else who got anything opposite of saying any of that, or try to say anything or bring any other thing to the conversation, is ridiculous, and you racist or whatever, and we ain't trying to hear it. Right? The other end, I'm hearing people say, well, he was resisting arrest. He wasn't complying with the police. Whatever happened to him. Right? And it's like these people, and y'all just fighting, and y'all just warring. And what I'm starting to realize is that people don't really want no real resolve to this stuff. A lot of people just want to push their agenda. A lot of people just want for their side of the argument to be right. You know what I'm saying? So now I couldn't really speak on anything or even address the situation because I didn't have full detail or anything of that nature. If you're somebody who you can watch a video and then you could just make up your mind and have everything that you need to go off of just from the video, that's fine and that's understandable, especially with footage like this, right? Where a man getting shot in his back 7 times. It's like, I don't need to hear nothing else. I ain't trying to, you ain't got to say nothing else to me. And that's cool if that's you. Just me. Personally, I don't react that way. That's just me from dealing with even doing my work in scholarship and research and things of that nature. I know that you have to have the ability to put yourself in an unbiased position if you wanna get to truth. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to come to the proper position that you should hold and that you should take on things. So I ain't really know much about the situation. I couldn't speak on it. So I had to look into a few things, and certain things I still don't know, everything about, but I'm just speaking from what I do know about, right? So initially, when the story of Jacob Blake came out, what was heard was that, he was just breaking up a fight between 2 girls. The police showed up on the scene, and because he was black, they got down on him, and then they shot him 7 times in his back. And he, for no reason, it was nothing that was going on. Now me, because I have had situations, that have had, if situations are involving police and shootings and different things of that nature, and I've been up close and personal with certain things of that nature, I know that the initial stories that come out are never right. Some of you may not realize that or not, but when things first happen, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of things, there's a lot that's going on, and information that's coming out is most likely not going to be 100% accurate at the beginning. And so you just can't roll off of anything. You know what I'm saying? And so I just waited and till I could really understand everything that was going on with that situation and in its context. And like I said, I don't know everything now, but I believe that I have enough information for me to address the situation. So those things weren't necessarily true. You might have been breaking up a fight, right? But when you listen to the police scanner, what was relayed to the officers, and I'm talking about what the officers were showing up on the scene with the information that they had in their head. This is the mindset that they was coming from. On the police scanner, the dispatcher is telling the officer, first of all, the police were called on Jacob Blake. He was in possession of one of the young lady's property. He was holding her keys, and he wouldn't return it to her. And so that's the reason why they called the police in the first place, was because he had some of her property and he wouldn't give it back to her. So she called the police or whatever, right? And so on the ride, as the police is on their way to go and, deal with the situation, they're receiving more information about the individual, about Jacob Blake. The dispatcher is telling them, certain run-ins and different things that, he's had with the law, certain things he's been charged with, blah, blah, blah. That's all protocol. That's all normal. So a lot of times when people think that, the way that people say, the police just come on the scene, they don't know what's going on and this, that, and the other, and then they just start shooting, it's not necessarily true. Most of the time, they getting all type of information on the way to the scene. You know what I'm saying? And so they knew who they was going there for. They knew what they was going there for, right? And they had information on who he was and certain things, certain run-ins with the law and different things of that nature that they had, right? That he had already had. So when they get there, and whatever they do to go to try to apprehend him or whatnot, he doesn't comply. He is resistant. When you can see this from, there's not the camera angle that shows the shooting on the other side of the car, but there's camera footage that shows the situation that was happening on the other side of the car before he walked around, where he was wrestling and tussling with the officers, right? So he's wrestling, he's tussling with the officers. Now, it was said that a taser was deployed, was used on him, was used against him, right? I don't know if that's true or not, so we just gonna act like that's not even true, right? We're just gonna act like there was no taser, because that's something that I'm hearing, not things that I've seen for my own self. But I do know that that he was wrestling with the officers, right? So he was wrestling with the officers on the other side. He gets up and he begins to walk around the car. The officers pull their guns on him and they tell him, listen, get on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Get down now, blah, blah, blah. Jacob Blake continues to walk around the car. And then when he gets around to the car, I don't know if he was planning on leaving or whatever it was, whatever his plans were. But he didn't listen to the officers. He wasn't complying with the officers when they told him to get down on the ground and to stop walking. You know what I'm saying? So he walked around, he opened the door, and he begins to reach into the car or get into the car, whatever the case. The officer began to shoot, right? Okay, so the officer begins to shoot. Shot him 7 times in his back, right? So now, with having that context and that understanding of the situation, I have to address certain things, because I feel like if people really want to put an end to this stuff, if people really care about, stopping these situations from happening, everything matters. You have to look at all of the contributing factors. Don't come to me and tell me this doesn't matter and that doesn't matter. Everything matters, bro. So first, for those of you who are saying that no matter what he did, right? Or excuse me, for those of you who are saying he didn't comply, he resisted the officers, he went against their orders, and so he got shot, and whatever happened to him because he had the ability to listen to what the officers were saying and to prevent him from getting shot. And if you one of those individuals and you hold no penalty, no judgment, no discipline or nothing towards the officers and the way that they dealt with that situation, then it's something wrong with you. It's something wrong with you. If you can look at those officers and say that they were right and that it's okay for them to shoot that man in his back 7 times, then it's something wrong with you. Right? Also, if you an individual who you can sit here and say that it doesn't matter about who he was, doesn't matter about none of his his background or anything of that nature. First of all, it does matter because the police are arriving on the scene with this information in mind. So even if you felt like it shouldn't matter what he did in his past, the fact that this information is being relayed to the officers and they're the officers who are going to the scene to deal with them, the information matters now. You understand what I'm saying? Because they are going to the scene knowing that they're dealing with somebody who has been resistant against the law in his past and previous times, who have had charges and this, that, and the other, and run-ins with the law and the police. So they're dealing with somebody who is a past criminal or whatnot. So the mentality is completely different. So you can't say it doesn't matter, right? Because now that puts them in a different place of how they're going to deal with the situation, whether you want to agree to that or not. And yes, we're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but our reputations mean something. We know our reputations mean something in the street, but we don't like it when they mean something in another way. And that's the truth, that they do mean something. So when they come into the scene and they dealing with somebody who has a reputation of certain things, then they're going to be a little bit more protective of themselves. They're going to be a little bit more cautious on how they dealing with this person, right? They're going to be let's keep it real. Let's just keep it real. They probably going to be a little bit quicker to be aggressive with him. They probably going to be a little bit quicker to deal with him like he's somebody who's not going to listen to the officer. They might be a little more aggressive with him. We keeping it all the way real, man, because this is what the problem is with everybody. Nobody want to keep it real. So those things do matter, right? The fact that he resisted the officers and that he was wrestling and not listening to their orders, it matters, bro. The fact that he walked around the car while guns was pointed on him and officers are screaming to him to get down on the ground, it matters. The fact that he goes into the car where I don't know if he was going to drive off and be like, man, I'm done with this, or whatever his plans was. The fact that you think that it's okay and that you can go and get into your car or reach into your car while you dealing with officers who you just, was having a little bit of a scuffle with, and they got guns pointed at you and they telling you to get down on the ground. It's like anybody who thinks that's okay, you're ridiculous. You ridiculous, man. So all of y'all are crazy to me, bro. And I couldn't even really speak on this whole thing because it's a little frustrating to see people who want to push their side of something so bad that you no longer have a heart, you no longer have the ability to reason, you no longer have the ability to think logically, objectively. You don't know how to just keep it real. Just because you want to push your side of an argument or your side of the narrative. right? And if we cannot get down to acknowledging all of these factors in these situations, this stuff ain't gonna never end. If people keep on just want to hold on to what their side says, this stuff will never end, bro. Right? So those officers, if you think that it's okay for them to shoot that man in his back 7 times, then you crazy. You crazy. You know, and I don't care what you say. So this is my issue, right? Because you got people that I back the blue, you back the blue. So that's a stupid saying to just say, we back the blue. How are you just going to back the blue? So you just back the blue in whatever situation. No matter what's taking place, you back the blue. Regardless of the context of these situations, you back the blue. Regardless of training, regardless of discipline, regardless of any of that, you just back the blue? What's wrong with you? And then for those that's on the Black Lives Matter side, no matter the context, no matter if somebody is resisting arrest, no matter if somebody is wrestling or fighting with officers, no matter if somebody's reaching into their car, and these officers they got families to make it home to, they got wives and things of that nature too, who they trying to get home to as well. You ain't never been in that. You ain't never been an officer. A lot of cops deal with things that you ain't never seen in your life. It only take a split second to turn around with a gun, so I got this much time to make a decision about this individual who won't listen to the orders that I'm giving him. And then he's reaching or going in his car for I don't know what. I'm not about to die tonight. You feel me? So I let off some shots. Right? Now, 7 shots is excessive. 7 shots is definitely excessive. But if we're going to act as though, just on the side of Black Lives Matter, they matter, of course. Of course they matter. But we can't ignore context. We can't ignore what's going on in these, if you really care about ending this stuff. Because you think that it's only just on one side. The police got to do better. The police got to... Listen, everybody got to do better. And that's what y'all not realizing. And y'all going to keep on doing this. And ain't nothing going to change. Because I don't want my side to be wrong. Yeah, I don't want for any accountability to be held on black people. Or on my people, or on my side of the equation. Only the accountability over there. And then the back the blue people like, I don't want for any accountability to be held on the officers. They're just trying to do their job, and you don't know what they go through, and all the accountability should be over there. They should comply. You know what I'm saying? It's like all of y'all. I'm gonna try to be nice. Right? So that's that, man. It's like people need to learn how to be real, and people need to learn how to extract yourself. I'm getting a phone call. People need to learn how to extract themselves from the situation so that you can objectively make sense of a situation. Not just going off of your side and and stop listening to the media, bro. Y'all can't, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking about those that's on the right and those that's on the left. Stop listening to the media. A lot of y'all wait for them to tell you how to think about a situation. You know what I'm saying? The left push to you this side, Black Lives Matter, this everything that goes with that narrative. The right push to you this side, blue, black the blue, and this, that, and the other, everything that goes with that narrative. You listen to them and they tell you how to feel about a situation and how to assess and how to analyze it. And only people who I know that's able to do it and think by themselves, think independently, can see that both of y'all wrong, cuz. I'm just being real, man. It's like y'all crazy. It's crazy to me, bro. I couldn't even really speak on it and address it because it's just crazy to me how people can be so one-sided and people can be so biased, care so much about holding to their position that you can't be. I stand for righteousness. I stand for truth. That's all I care about at the end of the day. And so let me address the Kyle Rittenhouse thing real quick, right? Even that's the same thing. This is the reason why a lot of times people can't be heard, because when you associate yourself with certain things, then now other things that you speak about are not going to be, people not going to want to listen to it, right? So you are saying that this individual, here's another thing. Here it is on both sides again, right? So this young man, 17 years old, goes across state lines from Illinois to Wisconsin, and he's out there defending or trying to, stop people from destroying these businesses and establishments and all of this, that, and the other, right? And so a lot of people on the right, y'all are defending this. This young man who is not even of age to be practicing his Second Amendment rights that y'all hold to so well. And I believe in my Second Amendment too. Know that, right? But this young man had no business going across state lines with an AR-15. It's nothing you can say after that, bro. Stop with he was defending himself. Because he ain't had no business there in the first place. Carrying guns in the first place, at his age in the first place. You feel me? He wasn't protecting his home. He wasn't protecting his business. You understand? So, but y'all will defend that. Y'all will defend that just because y'all sick of the other side. Because what is the other side saying? The other side steady out there trying to act like these protests is peaceful. These protests are not peaceful. Stop it. If you do some research, don't just look at the media and what they telling you. There's millions and dollars of damage that is being done across this nation, bro. These protests are not peaceful. There's riots. They're burning, they rioting, they looting, they burning buildings down, they tearing down monuments. Like, it's real. It's not peaceful. So we need to stop that. So, you know what I'm saying? We need to stop that. But on the other side, and y'all pushing people into this fire and telling that, and they have to go, because I see it. I see them incite y'all. I see the media incite the left and tell them, and try to push all of their narratives on you about racism and white supremacy and what you got to do and this, that, and the other, and the police are out to kill you. I see all of that. You know what I'm saying? I see them tell y'all, they put on the news and say, well, these are peaceful protests and the government and the police, they're out here just terrorizing people. It's lies. They're not peaceful. They're not peaceful. Also on the other end, I see them tell them that anyway, you get the point. So you have people on both sides of the spectrum who are ridiculous and who are crazy, and y'all don't want to keep it real and say that. You know what I'm saying? You got people being led by their emotions. Oh, that's what I was about to say. I see on the other end, I see Tucker Carlson on Fox News. I see him trying to stir people up, trying to rile them up to go out there and to go out there with their guns and to do exactly what Kyle Rittenhouse did and get himself in a situation. I see him telling them, you better go out there and fight back against these people. The media is playing y'all. The media is pinning everybody against each other. Learn how to do some research. Learn how to be objective. Detach yourself from a side, man, and be independent. Be an independent thinker so that you don't get played. when it comes to these situations. Stop moving off your emotions. If you're an emotional person in 2020, you're going to be played. You're going to be played. You know what I'm saying? You have to, number one, not only do you have to not be emotional, you have to be logical, reasonable, objective. And you have to be able to think for yourself. You have to be able to research for yourself. And this last one may not be for everybody, but this is probably the most important one. You got to be led by the Spirit of God. Because if you led by your own emotions and your own flesh in these last days, in 2020, and we know with the political climate the way that it is right now, then you're going to be screwed, man. So that's it. It's your boy Sam Noble. Y'all know, I just wanted to speak my piece on it, man. Peace.